Well, we have our labor press for the month, and we'll start with a report by Mr. Hunt, our union president. We have just completed one of the most anticipated election cycles in years. Although the nature of all elections is that some people will not be pleased with the outcome, some will not. I believe that both as a union and a nation, we are ready to unite and move on. I want to thank everyone who joined us in volunteering this year. I know how difficult juggling the many obligations of our work and home life can be, and I really appreciate that so many of you were able to contribute. I encourage all of you to find a way to stay involved. A union that demonstrates solidarity and active membership is virtually unstoppable. Recently, several of our members were called into the manager's offices without union representation. I want to remind all of you that you are protected by your Weingarten rights. That means every member has a right to have a union officer with them when they are being questioned by management. You have the right to speak in private with your union officer before your meeting, and you may also stop the meeting at any time to speak in private with your officer. If at first you do not want a union officer but later decide that you do, you still have that right. You cannot refuse to meet with management, even if the management refuses to honor your request for an officer to be present. As refusing to meet with your manager constitutes insubordination. But you can refuse to answer management's questions if you can't have your union officer present. So in other words, you've got to go in, but you don't have to answer anything they ask. You do not have an absolute right to a union officer if management only wants to present your annual performance evaluation. If management wants to discipline you and wants to inform you of that discipline, or if management states that no discipline will result from the meeting, you have the right to a union representative, only if you enforce it. As long as you think you might be disciplined, you can have an officer present. You must ask for a union officer. You should always ask for your regular union officer. If you don't ask for a union officer, you make the union weaker. Every time you ask for a union officer or file a legitimate grievance, you make the union stronger. As most of you probably already know, the U.S. Attorney changed Tom Wallace' sentencing date again from November 10th to December 17th. The hearing will be held before Judge Gar King at U.S. District Court, Federal Courthouse. I will be reading a victim impact statement on behalf of the union. We do not know what the reason for the various delays are, but we'll hold the process and bring some resolution. I'm still conducting property visits and distributing surveys. My goal is over and over remains to visit every location. If, however, you missed me on my last visit to your shop and would like to complete a survey, please call the union office and we will mail you one. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Well, that was an interesting article in the labor press by President Mr. Hunt about the Weingarten rights. Apparently, this particular story is aimed at the situation going over on the west side and happens to be our very own, from what I understand, I don't have proof of this, but I understand it has to do with our beloved Tom Cord of the maintenance department, who has been meeting with some of his employees. Apparently he doesn't believe in Weingarten rights. So just a little background on that particular story that Mr. Hunt chose to talk about. So we need to remind all the TriMet management, including Mr. Cord, that according to Labor Relations Board, the Labor Relations Board and labor law, you are required to allow your employees to ask for union representation when you're meeting with them. So make sure you follow the laws, because you just make things worse for everybody when you break the law around here.
You continue in your petty, arrogant, and oppressive ways. Continue in your petty, arrogant, and oppressive ways. You continue in your petty, arrogant, and oppressive ways. You continue in your petty, arrogant, and oppressive ways. You continue in your petty, arrogant, and oppressive ways. You continue in your petty, arrogant,